if you look through YouTube, there's lists of stuff like 10 bands I like, 10 songs I like, 10 whatevers I like. You go into Google and it's 10 bands I don't like, 10 bands I can't get into, or 10 bands that I should like but I don't. I'm going to go for the latter option, and this is the 10 bands I just don't like. I've never been able to like them, I've never been able to get into them, and they're just 10 songs I dislike. 10 bands I dislike. Before we get into this list, I'm going to admit that, one, this list crosses genres. This isn't a genre-specific list. There's some hip-hop on there, there's some rock music on there, there's some pop on there, there's R&B on there. There is no One Direction because I dislike them because they're pop. I'm not going that shallow. Yes, I like rock music, I like rap music, but I'm not going to take that stance of I like rock music, pop sucks stance. So let's just clear that out. There is one boy band on that list, and that's not because it's a pop band, it's because I actually dislike them a lot. So we'll start with number 1 on this list. Diane Wood came about my attention in 2010. So that was 7 years ago. And it was through to Radio 1. And I think the only reason they became popular at the time they did was because they were South African and the World Cup was in South Africa at that time. I think that if it wasn't for that, Radio 1 wouldn't have given the coverage that they got 7 years ago, and they wouldn't have made it into the British mainstream. So what is my problem with Diane Wood? For me, they just feel fake. If hip-hop is about keeping it real, these guys don't feel real. It feels like 3 preppy high school kids trying to be gangster. That's what it feels like to me. It always feels like they're a rip-off of Wu-Tang Clan. They used kind of the same imagery as Wu-Tang Clan. The whole idea of ninjas and everything else. Their singer actually really annoys me as well. At the end of the day, they feel like a cheap rip-off of the Wu-Tang Clan that has never sat right with me, and I've never felt comfortable with Diane Wood. I hate Guns N' Roses. I'm sorry, I know they have a lot of fans out there, but personally I can't stand them. I can't stand Axl Rose. I can't stand Axl Rose's singing. I can't even do with the guitaring of Slash. And it's a funny thing is, there's a few Velvet Revolver songs I quite like. But you put Rose and Slash together, and for me it becomes this god-awful combination that I've just never really got to like. And being a fan of stuff like Metallica and Maiden, I probably should be into Guns N' Roses. However, I've never got into them, and I've never liked them for the best part of 10 years, maybe a bit longer. This is probably another unpopular choice in this list, because I know a lot of people think he's the best UK MC out there, but I don't like Wiley. And I've not liked Wiley now for 8, 9 years. And for me, the problem is that I feel grime is stale. And I haven't listened to grime in a while. But even though Stormzy's doing quite well, Bugsy Malone's doing quite well, quite a lot of ground for me is stale. And the only person I can blame that on is Wiley. Wiley created this genre, Dizzy brought it out and made it good. Then when Wiley came into the mainstream, he started producing songs like Wearing My Rolex. And for me, he failed. He didn't make a good song, and he failed the genre. I feel like if they had kept down the Boy in the Corner route, grime would have been quite a good genre that was very distant to other genres of rap. Happy, bubbly, pop punky, annoying. Hayley Williams, I think, has been a major problem with Paramore. Her look, her image, pretty much most of it. But when Paramore came out in 07-08, they led that annoying front of, like, I'm going to call it new wave American alternative music. It's probably called something else. And it was those pop punky bands like Medina Lake and My Chemical Romance, who will be on this list, by the way. But they fronted this new wave of pop punk that I just didn't like. I was into Blink-182, Sum 41, Bowling for Fish, Bowling for Soup, Bowling for Fish, Bowling for Soup, and other noughties, late 90s, early noughties pop punk bands. But again, like Downward, something didn't sit right with me on this one, and I could never get into this genre. And because Paramore, for me, fronted this wave, all my hatred turned onto Paramore. And we are on to the only 90s MC on this list. The only one. And it's Ja Rule. And I'll tell you what my dislike is. Well, I've got two reasons for my sheer dislike of Ja Rule. First one, he's a poor man's DMX. And the second one is, I don't like his flow, I don't like his rhyme style. It's this annoying version of kind of like rapping, kind of like singing in my opinion, but unlike Drake, he cannot pull it off. Drake can rap sing, Ja Rule can't. If you thought this band could be unscathed while I take a shot at Paramore, you're sadly mistaken. My Chemical Romance. And where does my hatred of My Chemical Romance come in? Where do I start with this one? We'll hit one up with Black Parade. The first time I heard Black Parade, the single, I liked the intro. I liked the vocals on the intro. Then it sped up, and it went from this really cool Queen style to garbage. I think there's another song called Helena that is just too fast for me. I'll openly admit that I really like I Don't Love You. I love the visuals for that video. I love that song. It's really good. However, the rest of the songs, the rest of the visuals for My Chemical Romance, I have never liked. And I'm not saying Gerard Way is a bad singer. Gerard Way's solo album is really good. But as a band, I never liked Chemical Romance because of the music and because of the visuals. There are better emo bands out there that do better music, and one of the best examples of this would be like Funeral for a Friend or Brand New. Whoa, we're living on a prayer. Whoa, just fuck off. Just fuck off now, please. Number 7 on this list, and it's mainly due to that fucking song, Bon Jovi. There is a point where one song can make you hate a band, and the one song being shoved down your throat constantly. And I'm sorry, Bon Jovi do have some good songs, but Living on a Prayer has been shoved down my throat so much that I've come to the point I can't stand Bon Jovi. And however, we'll just slowly shove to one side that and take on the fact that I can't actually take John Bon Jovi seriously as a rock star either. He's an actor. Yes, he's a rock star, but he's an actor. And he's been in Ally McBeal. What's the least rock and roll TV show ever? Ally McBeal, and you appeared on it, John. So yeah, I can't do with Living on a Prayer. I don't take John Bon Jovi seriously as a rock star. Do you know how I said there are bands people should like, but they don't, and they feel like they should like them, but they don't? For me, this is The Killers. And I know The Killers are an incredibly popular band. However, there's just something about The Killers that, personally, I've never really liked. And I think the main reason is I feel like compared to other indie bands that are around there that came out the same time roughly and in the indie scene, people like Kasabian, people like Muse, people like, God forbid me for saying this, Coldplay, The Killers seem lackluster and samey and similar, and they're unapologetic about it. All the songs sound the same. They've had some good songs, but they're lackluster, they're samey. However, people seem to ride their dicks constantly. Mr. Brightside, not far from the most entertaining indie song, in fact, it's quite dull, gets praised like it's one of the modern classics of indie. No, it's just dull, and it's the one thing that's turned me off The Killers is the popularity and the fact I think I should like it, but I don't. I said there's a boy band in this list. I did say it. And yes, it's Westlife. I don't dislike boy bands per se. There's a few boy bands that get on my tits. However, there's some good boy bands out there. If you look at Early Take That, I think Early Take That is a brilliant example of boy bands. I think New Kid on the Block is a wonderful example of boy bands. However, Westlife have grated on me for years. And it's not the fact they're a boy band. I can get over the fact they're a boy band, that they're a vocal ensemble. The problem is, it's their really dull songs and really cruddy covers of quite popular songs. There's just something that screams crap at me constantly, and Westlife have been the boy band that I've had most of this rage aiming at. And the worst thing is, they outlived their presence, their stage life. I do believe that every pop band should have a life of 5 years max before they become irrelevant. However, Westlife outlasted that, and they kept on releasing shoddy singles, boring shoddy singles, over and over and over again. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if Stussy, less well known outside of the United Kingdom. However, Stussy is the last band on this list because, for me, I feel like they tried to attain something and failed. It's a 3-piece band, all female, all black. Now, which 2 bands does that remind you of? Yes, TLC and Destiny's Child. My dislike for this band has been the fact that I've always felt like they were a rubbish version of TLC and Destiny's Child. 2 bands I've liked immensely. They've done rubbish singles. They did a pants version of Waterfalls by TLC, and it's just that I've never got the quality that I thought I would want from this band. It's kind of fallen short, but maybe I'm measuring them on too high a stick, because for me, they've been like Destiny's Child, they want to be like TLC, but they've fallen short of the mark. So that's my list, and there's some very few, quite a lot of popular bands in there. Remember, these are my opinions. Please don't get hepped up in the comment section. I don't like these bands personally. Yes, I know you will like them, but these are my opinions. These are just bands that I dislike. If you want to hate on me, go for it. I'll just ignore your hate comments. But if you want a reasonable conversation, dialogue, I'll respond. But again, these are my opinions, and I'll see you next time. Peace.